The James Webb Space Telescope has just made a discovery that left even experienced astronomers speechless. A galaxy so ancient that it must have formed shortly after the Big Bang, older than anything humanity has ever seen before. It shines from a time when the universe was still in its infancy. Yet surprisingly, it already appears mature, filled with stars, dust, and structure, as if the cosmos evolved much faster than we ever imagined. How is that even possible? Has James Webb just broken the limits of our understanding? Stay until the very end, because you'll learn why this discovery might completely change everything we thought we knew about the origin of the universe. When the James Webb Telescope released its first images in 2022, the world of astronomy was amazed. But what researchers have found now goes far beyond expectations. A galaxy that formed only 300 to 400 million years after the Big Bang, making it the oldest known galaxy in the universe. This galaxy, called JADES GSZ 14-0, is more than 13.5 billion light-years away. The light Webb is detecting today has traveled across the universe for almost its entire lifetime. When we look at this galaxy, we're literally looking back in time, to the very dawn of the cosmos, when the first stars were just beginning to shine. What truly shocked scientists, however, wasn't just the age of this galaxy, but how developed it appears. It shows structure, brightness, and density that shouldn't exist at such an early stage. That means billions of stars must have formed within just a few hundred million years, something current models say shouldn't be possible. James Webb can detect such ancient objects because it observes in the infrared spectrum, capturing light that has been stretched by the expansion of the universe, a phenomenon known as redshift. This allows Webb to see deeper into time and space than any telescope before it. For astronomers, this discovery is a paradigm shift. It suggests that the early universe was far more complex and evolved far faster than we've ever believed. But that leads to the next big question. How could such an old galaxy be so advanced? And what does it reveal about the true story of our universe? At first glance, JADES GSZ 14-0 looks like nothing more than a faint speck of light, one tiny dot among billions in Webb's deep field images. But that single point represents a time when the universe was only about 2% of its current age. What leaves scientists stunned is how mature this galaxy seems to be. Instead of a chaotic, unformed cloud, what we'd expect from the early universe, it already shows remarkable structure. Dense star clusters, clear shape, and extraordinary brightness. This means that within only a few hundred million years after the Big Bang, the first massive bursts of star formation had already begun. That challenges our current understanding, because according to standard cosmology, matter at that time should have been too diffuse to create such massive galaxies so quickly. Some researchers call this a cosmic surprise. Maybe gravity organized matter faster than expected. Maybe the first stars ignited sooner. Or maybe, just maybe, the early universe behaved in ways our current physics can't yet explain. Even more astonishing, JADES GSZ 14-0 isn't alone. Webb has found several other galaxies from the same era that are just as massive and bright. That suggests the young universe was far more productive than we ever imagined. For scientists, this galaxy is a window into cosmic history, one that raises more questions than it answers. If such complexity existed only a few hundred million years after the Big Bang, what else might be out there waiting to rewrite our story of creation? In the next chapter, we'll explore how James Webb can even see this far back, and why it's the closest thing humanity has to a time machine. To understand how James Webb can peer so far into the past, you need to know what makes this telescope unique. It's not just a better Hubble, it's an entirely new kind of eye on the cosmos. While the Hubble telescope observes visible light, James Webb works in the infrared spectrum. Light that's invisible to the human eye but carries information from the most distant corners of the universe. Because space itself is expanding, light from ancient galaxies is stretched along its journey, a process called redshift. What once was visible light becomes infrared radiation. That's where Webb shines. Its incredibly sensitive infrared detectors can capture this ancient stretched light, signals older than any we've ever seen. With its massive 6.5-meter mirror, Webb collects enough light to detect galaxies whose faint glow has traveled for over 13.5 billion years. Its location is just as important. Webb orbits the Lagrange point 2, about 1.5 million kilometers from Earth. It's a quiet, cold, and stable region, perfectly suited for observing faint cosmic signals without interference from our planet or the Sun. But Webb isn't just looking, it's analyzing. Its instruments can split light into its individual wavelengths, creating spectra that reveal which elements, hydrogen, helium, even cosmic dust, exist in those distant galaxies. In other words, Webb doesn't just show us where we came from, it tells us what we're made of. James Webb isn't just a telescope. It's a time machine, allowing us to witness the birth of stars, galaxies, and perhaps even the earliest building blocks of life itself. But every discovery comes with new questions, and some of them challenge the very foundations of cosmology. Every image from James Webb brings excitement, but also confusion. The oldest galaxies it's finding simply shouldn't exist according to current theories. The standard model of cosmology tells us that the early universe was dark, chaotic, and almost empty. Only slowly did small clumps of matter condense to form the first stars and galaxies. But what Webb is seeing doesn't fit this picture. Just 300 to 400 million years after the Big Bang, galaxies appear that are far too bright, massive, and structured to have formed so quickly. This has scientists puzzled. Some think our understanding of dark matter, the invisible substance that shapes the cosmos, might be incomplete. Perhaps it behaved differently in the early universe, speeding up galaxy formation. Others suspect that new, unknown physics could be at play, laws that go beyond what we currently know. A few even question whether the Big Bang itself happened exactly the way we think. Could the universe have been more complex from the very beginning? Or has it gone through cycles of expansion and collapse before? Whatever the answer, these findings are not minor details. They strike at the heart of how we understand reality itself. If James Webb truly sees structures that shouldn't exist, then our cosmic story may need to be rewritten from the very first page. And that's what makes science so thrilling. Every time we think we've reached the answer, the universe reminds us that we've only just begun to ask the right questions. In the next chapter, we'll look ahead to the future of space exploration and the discoveries James Webb might still have in store. The James Webb Space Telescope has only just begun to reveal its true power. If these first discoveries already challenge everything we thought we knew, imagine what's coming next. In the years ahead, Webb will search for the first generation of stars, the so-called population 3 stars, thought to have formed directly after the Big Bang. These primordial stars would consist only of hydrogen and helium, the original elements of the universe. None have ever been seen, but Webb could be the first to find them. It will also continue its hunt for exoplanets, but with a new goal, not just to detect them, but to analyze their atmospheres. Using its unparalleled sensitivity, Webb can identify gases like methane, carbon dioxide, and even water vapor, potential signs of life. Closer to home, Webb will study star nurseries, black holes, and supernovae, revealing how chaos and dust give birth to new worlds. For humanity, this marks the dawn of a new era in astronomy. Never before have we been able to look so far back in time, or learn so much about our future. Perhaps one day James Webb will not only show us the oldest galaxies, but the first evidence of life beyond Earth. And when that happens, it won't just change science, it will change how we see ourselves. One thing is certain, James Webb has opened the door to a new understanding of the cosmos, one that reminds us how small we are and how infinite our curiosity truly is. The James Webb Telescope doesn't just show us distant galaxies, it shows us our own beginnings. Every image is a glimpse into the moment everything started, a window into time itself. But the farther we look, the more we realize the universe's story is far from over. Maybe we're only at the beginning of truly understanding it. Tell us in the comments, do you think James Webb will one day discover life beyond Earth? And if you love exploring the future of space and science, subscribe now to Focus Future.